Hi folks, it's Benji here again from Bonaire with the installment that I've kind of been waiting for like a year or so, called the Grand Unified Theory of Fretboard Organization, and this is now kind of the idea that I've been waiting to document and tell you guys about for quite a while. So let's get right into it. The last few installments were about the mostly about pentatonics, because I had to get that out of the way before here. And the reason pentatonics is fun on the guitar, because the guitar is basically a pentatonic instrument. I play this chord, which is an E minor 7 add 11 chord. So the guitar is basically a G tuned in G pentatonic, or E minor pentatonic if you want. The piano is tuned in C diatonic scale. Right, so it's in C, an instrument, because the easiest thing to play on a piano is all the white keys, and you get all kinds of funky melodies right there. Okay, anyway, if you want to play diatonic scales on a guitar, it's a little different proposition, right? Because the scale is not as easily applicable on the guitar as it is on a piano. So what the old-fashioned way to do it, and what a lot of people and what I've been taught as well, is to shoehorn the diatonic scale into the fingerings of pentatonics, right? And that's not very logical, and for me it didn't a whole lot of sense, subconsciously, until I started practicing all kinds of modes and stuff like that. And I noticed something, that there's a big pattern, that kind of wraps around the fretboard, and you can shift that anywhere. So just to reiterate with what I'm about to tell you, you can play any mode from the diatonic scale in any key, anywhere on the fretboard. Pretty big, right? So let's get right into it. There is 3 groups of fingerings, and here's the first one. This is not a guitar, first of all, because it has 7 strings, and it's just to illustrate the sequence of these groups of fingerings, right? So this is not a guitar. It's tuned in perfect fourth. Right, the diagram, this there, and it has 7 strings, just for illustration purposes. However, if you want to, kind of replicate also maybe for later on, the way you're looking at these diagrams is looking down on your own guitar, and then you're looking at the screen, and then you basically see the same thing. That's the idea. Anyway, so the first block of fingerings is that right there, which has 3 frets apart, and the middle finger is in the lower. So basically the fingering would be 1, 2, 4, right? Okay, the next group is what I call the middle group. Basically the middle block is the same outer notes, in the same positions, but the middle note, those 2 in the middle, are now played with a 3rd finger. So it's 1, 3, 4. Each of those, what we've seen so far, have two of these fingerings in that group. And the last group is what I call the upper group, and that is now consisting of 3 adjacent strings, and is a kind of a stretchy fingering, right? And the middle note is right in the middle of between these 2 outer notes, and of those, that group has 3. So to add like one to the other, here's the first one again, and I add the second one, and now I add the third one. So you have the whole thing next to each other, right? Good. So this is still not a real guitar, and it's not going to become a real guitar for the next few minutes. However, that wraps around the fretboard, meaning below that is another 7 fingerings, and above that as well. And if you add the next big block, basically, what happens is it shifts 1 up position. So there's an arrow that goes from that lowest all the way to the next block that would start there where the arrow ends, right there. It would start with the next block. Likewise, if you take the top note of that upper block with the 3 stretchy fingerings, hope you follow my ramblings, right? Then you put that below with everything that comes with it, but it also is the first finger there is the leftmost circle there. It's also shifted down 1 position, right? And you can now basically turn this into and I wrote this in a thesis like about 20 years ago, a long time. And I didn't have the computer like I can now. I always dreamt about, making an animation, to show that infinitely wide guitar and infinitely long guitar neck that's all tuned in perfect fourths. Right? And then here we go. And this is it. So basically you start down with one of these big blocks, consisting of 3 smaller blocks, and then you add the next, and 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 the next. Right? And so on and so forth. So that's pretty cool. And well, I think we'll better start turning into a real guitar, or you guys are kind of zoning out here, tuning out a little bit. So the real guitar, first of all, has only 6 strings. So here we go with that diagram, corrected for 6 strings. Note that there's still these 3 different blocks there, like the 2 block, and then the 3 block with the stretchy fingerings. Even though we're now missing that 7th string, that is, just with the hollow circles, right? So that would still be played if there was a 2nd string, if there was a 7th string, excuse me, right? And the other thing that a real guitar has, it has this funny split between the G and the B, meaning there is no perfect fourth between those guitars, as you likely know, and but a major third. And that means that everything you're playing has to be shifted up and looks differently, unfortunately, a 1 position, right? So a real guitar looks like this, and now it indicates real guitar because that's what you could actually play. So there's these 2 blocks, 1 2 4 1 2 4. The next one is 1 3 4 1 3 4, and then 2 of these stretchy fingerings, right? And that is the sequence that all of this, that's all there is to it, really, right? And you can shift that through the fingerboard by looking at these arrows. So the last one of the oh no, I'm pointing at the screen. I should be pointing at the diagram right here. Stupid me. Regardless, that last one is the same as, in terms of fingerings, as the one that you're putting underneath the whole thing. So it basically moves from there to here, right? So you can put that together. Good. Okay, now let's see if we can actually turn that into some real music. So I brought up the whole fingering here again. And I noted the root notes for a major scale, which is ionic scale, like the simple children's song major scale. Right, and I played this in C, so that circled note there needs to become the 8th position, right, which would be the C. And then you play the first 2. Oops, turn this on. Next block with 1 3 4, and you shift up, right? The beauty of this is now that I can go, and this likely looks like something you've seen before in one of my other videos, is that the what you're looking at is that octave thing, that you have a C here, and you have another C here, and you have another C there. So you can now actually, and that's the secret of the whole thing, go take the same fingering with the root note with that 2nd finger all the way down there. You can see that, right? Or there, rather. If you think into different dimensions here. And then take that C and shift it up to the little bit of a higher C. Right? It would be this one, and the pattern is exactly the same. Now you have to shift up and go back down. Shift down because of that major third. And now I start playing one of those 3, the topmost of the 3 stretchy fingerings underneath here. Right? Because there is no 7th string, I can't play the 3rd one, but it doesn't matter, whatever, Same goes for another C. Let's take this one right here, and you play. I have to shift right away because I started on the G string, excuse me. Shift. Next block, all the way down. Shift, back down. And now I can play all the 3 stretchy fingerings that belong together. let's use another one. Let's say I'm going to use this one. I play with this on the topmost C. I start with that first fingering, and there's nothing more else to play going up. So now I play the stretchy fingerings underneath. I have to shift and the middle blocks. So what that means is I can take, just by sticking to this simple sequence, I can play this scale anywhere I want. And without going into too much detail, first of all, you might ask yourself, okay, why don't I tune the guitar in perfect fourth and add the 7th-string guitar, and then I can play it exactly like it was, in the beginning? Well, that a lot of people have 7th-string guitars, right? And there's actually some folks that tune the guitar in perfect fourth, but you're kind of losing that. The root connection, the whole thing that kind of makes the guitar a guitar is that pentatonic, earthy thing, the vibe. You're losing the mojo, so to speak. We don't want that, right? Okay, so I'll stick with that and remember to shift it up a little bit. Okay, here's the last thing without taking too far away from maybe the next few installments. We're going to actually go into some modes and applying the chord scale theory in major and playing all kinds of fancy scales using the system. But there's 2 more root notes in there, right? And you notice if you're looking back at the diagram that there's a root note contained in each of those blocks. In the lower block, the 1, 2, 4 block. And then there's another root note in the 1, 3, 4 block. It's in the 4th finger, and there is a root note in that in those stretchy blocks, right? So on the 1st finger. So it's interesting to see that each finger gets 1 turn of being the root, like the 2nd, the middle finger, like one of those middle finger middle positions, and the 4th, the little finger, the pinky, gets a root note, and the index finger as well. And now you can actually go and quickly remember where those root notes are. No big deal, right? And then play it from there. So let's say I take the those stretchy fingerings and start to play the 2nd, like the middle one of those on any given C. Let's say for the sake of simplicity here, right, in that 8th position, and I play. I played 2 of those. That was the middle one. So next thing I have to go is go up and go to the next full pattern and play the 1, 2, 4 fingering. But I went up just a little bit. Shift and go back down. I can do this on any C I want, like this top C. Play with the 1st finger root. I can play the first of those stretchy fingerings, play the middle blocks and the lower blocks, right? And same goes for the other position root note as well, right? So this is kind of the thing, and my thing, right? The way I think about the fretboard is, so I have my entire improvisation approach that I have is based on pentatonics, because I want to play blues, because that's a lot of fun and really something you can tell the story with very nicely. And if I want to play diatonics, I use this, right? And I actually found it very useful, and I actually have as you might have seen in the little intro that I played, I play even the all arpeggios and triad and all kinds of other things. I keep that within the system, right? And that's the basis for everything I do in terms of single note soloing. That's why I call it the grand unified theory of fretboard organization, because it's based on this one thing you just saw, right? And then next time we're going to take it in and know since we know where the 5th are, we know, and then we can switch modes and stuff like that. But I can keep that for another day. So far it's been 15 minutes. Attention span, including myself, is running out. So have a great day, and I hope I could shed some light on this stuff. And be good and rock on. Thanks.